It doesn't feel real. Like, I get to live my dream. There's only a handful of like big ticket gigs out there, and I'm on one that potentially is going to be a big ticket headline gig. I'm super lucky, but I never take it for granted. I go out every day and I bust my ass to do it the right way.
Welcome to Nashville Drummers Podcast, episode 49.
Today's guest is Eric Pritchard, who is currently on tour with Megan Moroney.
Eric is a G. Eric is a beautiful man. He is a lover of rhythm and of the barrel.
Cracker Barrel. Many people know him from that. It was super great getting to learn his story. We also, just hours before the interview, did an awesome NDP backstage full access tour of his new beautiful vertical drums kit. Do a full gear rundown. So definitely check that out on our YouTube channel. But beyond that, what stuck out for me, he's a super humble guy who's been through a lot of ups and downs, and his passion for the craft and specifically for really caring for that next generation. We kind of end the interview talking about some mental health issues that he struggled with and how mentors have really been a huge part of his life.
And one time he taught 7th grade math. So we hope you enjoyed this episode of Nashville Drummers Podcast. Vertical Drum Co. is a semi-custom drum company from Oregon, specializing in great-sounding drums for all applications. Their goal, always, is to make consistent products that look incredible and sound even better than they look. They take the semi-custom approach to ensure that customers will get the sound they want, while at the same time having options to customize the look without sacrificing sound quality. From tiny side snares to huge multi-piece kits and double kicks, they do it all, and at a price point that won't break the bank. Visit verticaldrumco.com to browse their wide selection of in-stock snares and kits and contact them to design the drums of your dreams.
I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.
Dude, I haven't taught anything in so long.
Like nothing at all?
I used to be a teacher.
Really?
Yeah.
Like music or just
No, like a
general
legit
education?
like teacher. I taught 7th grade math.
Oh, wow.
What?
Yeah.
Are we rolling? Because this is okay. Because I want to hear. Yeah.
Eric
7th
Pritchard,
grade.
the 7th grade teacher.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's why we
7th
brought
grade.
you on the National Drummers
I was
podcast.
a 7th grade math teacher.
How the mighty have fallen. So how did you get into teaching 7th grade math?
COVID happened and nobody was playing anymore, obviously. And so I started as a COVID teacher, and I went in and I would teach online through like Google Classroom.
Mm-hmm.
And I taught in an elementary school, and I worked with 3rd grade, 5th grade, kindergarten, and 1st grade.
Dude, I can see you as a really sweet teacher, actually.
Dude, I was pretty good.
Yeah,
I was pretty good. I won't lie. I was pretty
this
good
is my
at
first
it.
time meeting you, but I feel like you have a good calming sense and,
Teaching 7th grade was really, doing the whole 7th grade thing was fun because they had personalities.
Yeah.
So you could like interact with them, and they had drama. And I worked in a pretty rough school. So like their drama was great drama.
So let me ask you about the teaching thing.
Yeah.
When I was coming up, when I was in school, which was a long time ago, none of my teachers would have been allowed to have tattoos. I mean, you're fairly tatted up.
Yeah, man. Shout out to 2022 or 23 when everybody was cool with stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. When I started, I had 2. I had this one here. And it's a quote from Tombstone. And then I had this one here, which is my husky.
What does the quote say? Can you just read that?
Yeah, there's no normal life, just life.
Just laugh.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's
That's a great quote.
from the greatest movie ever, Tombstone. Can't beat the movie.
Don't ask if I've seen it.
Have you really not seen Tombstone?
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
This has been fun, man. Thanks for coming to
Yeah.
hang out. I really appreciate it. But I
Dude,
gotta-
Dan, this is a thing that's come up quite a bit. Dan has
brought
not
this
seen
on
a
myself.
lot of movies.
Yeah.
I'm gonna agree with him. I won't say best ever, but it's in the top 10 movies you should ever see.
Okay,
That's
dude,
debate.
make a
Yeah.
list and
It's a top
we should
3.
hang one
Yeah.
night, one weekend, just watch all these movies
Yeah.
back to back.
Tombstone,
We should.
Smokey and the Bandit. Oh,
You know what? I've never seen Smokey and the Bandit.
Dude, it's going to change your life. It's great. Watch Smokey and the Bandit. It's like an hour and 28 minutes.
I just want to watch Jerry Reed. Like,
Oh, dude,
that's
so
all.
good.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah. You'll have a great time. I promise. You'll turn it off and be like, damn,
Yeah.
he was right. You can call me later. Just tell me I was
So
right.
had you had any teaching background before this stint in COVID, or?
No. So when I graduated college, so I left high school. I started playing drums professionally 3 months after I graduated high school. I was touring in a white van, doing the whole thing like everybody does in a trailer. And then I left that gig, mostly because I just was tired of playing covers. I was like, I'm going to bet on myself, and I'm not going to play cover songs anymore. And I'm going to take the chance of playing less gigs, but playing potentially better gigs, which that is a scary feeling to sit down and go, I hope somebody's going to hire me.
Yeah.
But I learned so much playing cover gigs. I learned how to be in a band. I learned how to build a decent show. And I learned how to tour in the if you can learn how to tour in the shittiest conditions, you're going to be great on a bus.
Right.
Because if you can survive a van and trailer and driving yourself places through the night, when somebody's like, yeah, man, bus calls at 2, and you wake up on site, there's catering, my drums meet me at the stage. It's great. I know how to tour now because I did all the hard stuff.
You put in the work. And
it's the sweat equity of it all. No, I loved it. So COVID hit, and my degree is in education. And so naturally I was like, I can get a job doing this. It'll pay monthly, XYZ. So I went and started teaching through COVID. And it was kind of nice because the kids weren't really there. So you didn't have to discipline them. You didn't really have to pay attention to them. They were on a computer screen. So if they wanted to play Fortnite, they were going to do it.
Yeah.
Right. And if they didn't turn their assignments in, it didn't matter because the county I was in, they were just like, these kids need to be occupied from 8 a.m. to 3:25 p.m. every day.
Yeah.
So that's just what we did. I call myself a glorified babysitter too, but I taught phonics, vocabulary, math. I taught everything somehow, some way. And then when I moved up to Tennessee, I was in between gigs and I picked up a job teaching 7th grade math. And truthfully, I loved it. The kids were great. It was fun. Met some really good people. And I was like, finally the cool teacher. Because I was playing gigs too.
Yeah.
So I was like, I got caught. I didn't tell them I did. I played drums. They were just like, oh, who is this guy that wears way too tight pants with tattoos and listens to rock music? I was like, that's Mr. Pritchard.
Mr. Pritchard.
Mr. Pritchard's cool.
Yeah.
So we played a frat party in Knoxville with Josh Ross. And one of my kids, his brother was in that frat, took a picture of me standing on the roof.
Oh, no.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes on in this one. Took a picture of me standing on the roof and then had it, sent it to his brother and was like, hey, isn't this your math teacher? And I was like, he's like, yeah. Brought it to me framed. It sat on my desk for the rest of the year.
Incredible.
Yeah, I'll find it and show you later. Yeah, there's a picture of me on a roof by myself at a frat party at the University of Tennessee. And it got framed and it sat on my desk for the whole year.
Do you remember which frat? Because I just played at, I think it was Sig New at UTK.
That was it.
Really?
Did you play in that backyard? Yeah, dude.
Decent sized stage. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
just played that last month.
The weird landing roof thing.
Okay.
I was up on that.
I didn't make it to the roof, but that's wild.
Lame. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. It was it was so fun.
Dude,
yeah.
I had no idea you had a teaching background. That's really cool. Looking back at it now, what's a takeaway that maybe you've brought now to your professional drumming career?
One of the best things about teaching is learning how to communicate with people and learning how to offer constructive criticism in a way that isn't demeaning or doesn't cut somebody down. I now know how to talk with the band and be like, hey, this idea isn't great, but I know how to phrase it and structure that in a way that nobody's going, why is he always picking on me? I know how to lead and construct something as the band leader in that situation with a leadership background. Because if I can manage 32 kids, I can manage 3 musicians.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
And it helps with management too. You know how to talk to somebody who is above you and you know what to say, what not to say, how to conduct yourself. And we had a guest MD come in the other day. We all showed up dressed, professionally for what we do. But it's those things like that you learn working in a real professional environment, like being a teacher where you're responsible for children some of these things still carry over into what we do now or what I do now. And it's crazy sometimes to think about it.
Yeah.
Like I haven't been asked that, but yeah, I think it's the leadership and the constructive criticism. Like you learn how to lead and you learn how to build an idea and say no to something respectfully. And that's the hardest thing to do, I think, in this industry, because everybody kind of gets their feelings tied up. Like, oh, I had this idea for this cool part with this walk down, and the walk down might be too busy. And it's easy to be like, hey man, I love that idea, but let's take this and let's put it to 50% and then let's push it forward again and see where we get with it. And it's just things like that.
Yeah, totally. How to effectively communicate. Have you read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't.
I mean, you should read it. You've read it, right?
I have.
That's a classic. And it's, I think, a lot of things that you've already been doing.
I love
One of the principles in that book is like, kind of like what you were just describing. Like if you have a situation where you're trying to maybe say no, but it's like lead first with a positive or compliment, and then you tone it down. It's like, I love that idea, but like maybe 50%. Instead of saying, no, I don't think it's going to work. Then you've immediately just like,
there's like a
the
selfish
whole tone
way.
is a negative thing now. You know?
Yeah, there's like a selfish way to say no and an unselfish way to say no. And you've got to like learn those two. Because sometimes the only thing you can say is no. Like if I wanted to put a real metal breakdown in Tennessee Orange, I hope somebody would be like, no.
No, you're fucking crazy.
And go home.
Yeah, somebody like, hey man, we called anybody else in town. They're coming. Please leave.
Yeah.
Pack your China symbol and get out.
Yeah.
How do you get the perfect Nashville kick drum tone? It starts with a lowboy leather daddy bass drum beater. This leather-faced beater occupies the sonic space between felt and wood beaters. It's punchy enough to cut through the mix on those 4-on-the-floor barn burners with the warmth you need for slow ballads. Okay, but who plays a leather daddy? Garrett Goodwin from Carrie Underwood's band uses one. Lee Bryce drummer Donnie Marple plays a pair. Walk down Broadway any night of the week and you're going to hear one. In Nashville, you can test drive a lowboy beater at Drumbox and grab one at Forks, Drum Supply, or Nelson's. Check out lowboybeaters.com to learn more.
We just came from Eric's. You were so gracious enough to show us kind of behind the scenes of your rig down a sound check. And head on over to our YouTube channel and we'll be posting plenty of clips on Instagram and TikTok. So I guess, maybe as a segue, kind of, you're about to hit the road here with Meg. And
Man,
how did
crazy.
you, kind of let's go through like how you got the gig story and how you're not just the drummer. As you said, you're the band leader, right? So,
So what's silly is Megan and I went to high school together from the same hometown, Douglasville, Georgia.
Okay.
And when I was there, we had one class together for a few weeks, and I remember she got a guitar. And I remember she was talking about having this guitar. She tells a story, a boy broke up with her. Her dad bought her a guitar to get her to quit crying. And I just remember...
Tennessee.
Quit crying, here's a guitar.
Do
Do you remember which class this was?
It was astronomy with Mr. Davidson. And,
shout out Mr. Davidson.
Yeah, dude, second period. God, it's nuts to like even go back that far into the story of it. But yeah, she went to the University of Georgia, Go Dogs. And I remember I DM'd her because I saw she was playing a show at the Georgia Theater. I was like, hey, if you need somebody to play cajon with you, hit me up. I'll come out and play cajon. And she's like, hey, I'm just doing
God
an
bless you,
acoustic.
man.
Yeah. Dude, I must have saw something at the
you saying
beginning.
that because he said cajon? Yeah.
I must have saw something in there that I was like, I was either really poor, trying to take a girl on a date, or I was like, dang, I bet something will come out of this.
Because it's not that you love cajon. That can't be it.
No, dude, I hate the cajon.
Yeah.
I have a cajon story I'll tell later. But
Perfect.
so she goes to UGA, plays some shows. I was playing with a guy named Tyler Hammond at the time, and we needed an opener at this place in Milledgeville. And Megan's current boyfriend went to the college in Milledgeville. So I called Meg and was like, hey, we need an opener. I'd love for you to come and open for us. The whole goal behind having her come was we knew if she brought her boyfriend, his friends would come, and their friends would definitely bring girls. And that was the only thing we cared about. Will his baseball player friends bring all the girls to the show? And by God, it worked.
Yeah.
We sold it out.
Amazing.
And so we finished that, and about a year goes by. She moves to Nashville. She's written some songs, and she's playing a whiskey jam. And she called me, and she's like, hey, I don't know anybody that plays drums. I don't know anybody else that has musicians. Can you help me put a band together? So I called my buddy Riley, my buddy Alex, and a couple other guys. And we played her first show June 7th, 2021. I have it tattooed on my arm.
Dude, how cool.
Yeah, dude. I have the boot with the clover and the date, the first time we ever played a show together.
Man.
And
I was going to ask about that. I was like, I bet that's what that is.
Yeah,
that's pretty
man.
cool.
Yeah, so that day, I feel like when people play Whiskey Jam, sometimes they're like, oh my God, it happened. We all left that night and we were like, oh shoot. I was like, call me when you're ready. When you're ready for a band and everything, give me a phone call because I want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really lucky enough that 3 of the 4 guys that played that show are still in the band today.
Wow.
And that's so
Dude,
cool to
what
me.
a cool story.
That is
Yeah.
cool.
And shout out to Whiskey Jam. Like, we often hear that story of like these bigger names that literally started out of
At
Whiskey Jam. you know?
Dude, what Ward's got going on over there, he's so good.
Yeah.
He's so talented. That's a
to
great
see that
place.
thing grow now. You know,
Yeah.
now they're
Yeah,
doing
it's
it down
it's
on
really
Broadway.
cool.
They're bringing comedy involved. Like it's becoming like a whole community thing. you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love Whiskey Jam. I loved it at Losers. I like it at Dirk Bentley's. It's great. Yeah, love Whiskey Jam. It's a platform for even players like us too to be able to go out there and meet somebody. And like, there's nothing more humbling than you walked on that little corner stage, no click, no ears, and you were just like thrown to the wolves.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know there were important people in that room listening to you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's what's even crazier. To
I was
me.
so nervous playing my first Whiskey Jam.
Oh, I get nervous at Whiskey Jams.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, that artist, their fate is way more in jeopardy at a Whiskey Jam with me behind them. Like I owe them a lot more time and like credit or, time to like devote to the songs to make sure I'm playing the parts right. Because somebody important's probably going to hear them that night.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's a lot of pressure just being in the band at a Whiskey Jam
Mm-hmm.
when you like kind of step back from it.
I agree.
And it's not an easy place to play.
Well,
Yeah,
we were talking
true.
earlier about playing stadiums and like nerves and stuff. And at Whiskey Jam, it's so tight and compact that
Yeah.
and plus it's local, so you're seeing all your homies, all your friends are there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you think that adds more pressure too?
Yeah, the smaller the room, the harder it gets.
Yeah.
I think everybody says that.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Next Saturday when we play Raymond James Stadium, I saw the Stones there.
Yeah.
When we play there, I think I'm more nervous about the emotions I'm going to feel, like knowing I say all the time, I'm putting stamps on my passport. Like getting my name on my drumsticks, stamp in the passport. Playing Stagecoach this year, stamp in the passport.
Name on your badge and that beautiful vertical
Yeah.
drum company.
Stamp.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to be emotional. My parents are going to be there because it's just like I'm adding like another like peak and just in this like hike that I've been on that I'm like, oh shoot, we're 2 of 4 in a stadium. We're direct support for Kenny on amphitheater dates. What? No way. Like I remember getting told about it and I was like, no, shut up. This is a lie. Because we did Brooks and Dunn last year. And to be Greg Morrow played drums. I had 16 nights to go stand side stage and watch Greg Morrow work. Incredible.
Wow.
That's more valuable than a degree, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was the best thing. He never wanted to talk drums. He walked off stage one night and said, Greg, you did a great job. And he goes, yeah, I was just thinking about watermelon with a little bit of salt on it. And then shuffled off in his old man slippers. And
Incredible.
he played in sweatpants and slippers every night. And
What a
Ronnie
boss.
and Kicks are up there just being Brooks and Dunn. And Greg's just back there just tapping.
Wow.
Oh,
What a G.
dude, he was so cool. He was so cool. I hope I'm not cool when I'm that old.
I'm speechless. I was just thinking about watermelon with a little salt on it.
And then just dip.
I'm using that.
What a mic drop.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the stadium thing, we played some big shows. We did one last year in Quebec. It was about 130,000 people. And I maybe paid attention to 15,
Right.
if that.
Well, that's the thing too, with like depending on how the lighting is, like you can probably only see right like the front row or like maybe
Yeah.
the middle of the stadium.
And I'm hyper focused on Megan.
Yeah.
A lot of my playing is built around playing to her movements, and like when she walks, I see the show like in the cinematic aspect where like when she's walking, I'm playing the score to that scene of the movie she's in.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah.
So like the way she walks with that swagger, my kick drum and my hi-hat have to accent every step and her shoulder movements.
Yeah.
And then I'm watching the boys too. You know, if Riley or John does something with a guitar and they do a guitar lift, I'm accenting it with them because like that moment needs to be acknowledged with like a hit.
Yeah.
So a lot of my time is spent watching her and watching them, kind of depending on what they're doing. Just so we can create this full encompassing cinematic experience of what a Megan Moroney show is.
Yeah.
So answer me this.
Yeah.
Does that mean that night by night, they're usually doing roughly the same movements at the same times?
Pretty close. Every night's different. I mean, we're on tracks and we're, pretty scripted. She's very flexing. Her talking points. I know my key phrase. That's always the same. But every night is like a group therapy session. So it really is different night to night. With her talking, her movements are just kind of dependent on like stage size, where we're at. Like when we were in Georgia this year, it was a hometown show and she was just left, right, left, right, left, right.
Yeah.
But, we've played some Wednesday nights in Kansas where we're in a tight room and maybe we don't have as much movement and she's, a little more sewn into the microphone that night on the mic stand. So it kind of depends. The boys are like locked in every night. I know where everything is at. But I would say it's like 70-30 with like flexible to on grid every night. Which is, it's different for sure.
Okay. So each time you're seeing something happen, you're trying to respond to that in a cinematic way in real time.
In real time, I'm watching the movie myself from back there on the drums, trying to because some nights we'll have a catwalk. And if we've got a thrust, my mindset is totally different. Because when she's way down there, one, I'm digging into those hi-hats a little more.
Yeah.
Because if she does pop an ear out, I need her to hear those hats for time.
Yeah.
But then if she's got, Kenny, the catwalk is 40 feet. So that's a long way to have that swagger walk. So there's we're doing Summer 69 in the show. And she struts herself down that catwalk in the solo. And as much as I'm playing the parts correctly, I'm also watching her movement because as she's walking, I'm pushing with her. So every step, she gets that push of that swagger of this is what I'm supposed to be walking to.
Yeah.
I guess it's like when you listen to music at the gym on the treadmill and you're walking and you hear it in your head and you're like, if everybody could see me walking to this, they'd think I'm the coolest guy here.
Yeah. Dude, that is the coolest thing I've never heard.
Yeah.
Because we always talk about serving the song, vocalist is key, but you're literally not even just audio, but from a visual standpoint, you are quite literally reacting to her and building her up and the band members.
Yeah.
That's a whole other skill set.
I'm really I'm hyper focused on her picking patterns and what the boys are doing with guitars. My hi-hat mimics her picking patterns a lot of times.
Yep.
Depending on because she finger picks a lot. So my hi-hat sometimes will mimic her picking pattern. So that rhythmic feel she gets on the acoustic is matched on the hi-hat and they don't clash. So I'm not just playing straight quarter notes. If she's playing something intricate, I'm dancing with her. Yeah. I see it all as just this big dance, visual, what you hear, what you see. There's so many things that have to be right for it to work.
Right. When you're playing, with a bigger artist on these bigger stages, it's those moments that really matter more, right? Yeah.
No, everybody now watches a show from here.
Yeah.
So you go home and watch it on your phone. And when you go back and watch it on your phone, I want you to be like, dang, that was sick.
They were just locked in. Everything was synced up.
Yeah, everything was tight. Mm-hmm. It's a different way of playing. I remember Jeremy Robinson from Chase Rice was, when I was younger playing, he was talking to me about that. He was like, man, listen to that acoustic part. He goes, that's what your hi-hat needs to do. And I was like, got it. And I took that and I ran with it. And I've done it ever since.
Yeah.
And it's not something I normally, it's not like a secret I just drop with people when they're talking. Because I'm not everybody does it.
Yeah.
I kind of it's my little sauce.
Totally. Yeah.
It's my Chick-fil-A sauce.
No Chick-fil-A sauce?
That girl was interesting.
You see that? Oh my gosh.
But yeah, man, that's kind of my visual take on like playing is I'm not so focused on, I'm focused on the parts, but I'm more focused on making sure it looks right and all the other aspects for her are correct because she's the star. And if I can put some color up under her and like really be thoughtful about that, then I'm doing my job above and beyond what's called for.
Right.
Because the songs are simple.
Yeah.
But
love it.
Yeah.
So speaking of visuals, you just came off of your first CMT performance.
Yeah.
And I want to finish. You were telling us the story of No Caller ID and that track as well. So how did that go? Tell us that.
I mean, it was so cool. It was our first award shows band.
Okay.
And man, I don't know if I can bust the bubble for people, but sometimes we play what's called live to track. And so live vocals, we had live vocals and live steel, but the guitars, drums, and bass were all pre-recorded. And so I got to the kit. I had dead cymbals and mesh heads, which as a drummer, visually, I'm responsible to replicate anything you hear off that track 100% accurate.
Yeah.
And I don't play the fill correctly.
It's a little stressful.
Yeah.
Did you know that was going to be the case?
I did not. It was supposed to be live, which means we were all going to play.
Right.
And I didn't know till about 24 hours beforehand. So I didn't have time to like really sit down and be like, let me learn the fill right.
Right. You're used to playing your parts, which I'm sure aren't exactly to the record, right?
I don't play that fill correctly. Sorry, Travis McNabb. I don't. If you're gonna see this, sorry, buddy. No. So when we got there, Christian Bush, our producer, who's one of the nicest human beings on this planet, he's half of Sugarland. If you don't know who he is, he's such a great guy. So we were sitting there playing. We ran through it one time, and he came up to me and he goes, "Hey man, be confident in your parts." He goes, "You're playing them right. The fills look great," and which I needed to hear. Thank God somebody said it because I was so scared.
Yeah.
But no, I went and found your Instagram video, and I took your transcription and wrote it on the snare drum head. And I thank God the man didn't put it on the camera, but I was literally sitting there just head down playing the fill like note for note. So whoever was in the front row of the audience was like, "Dang, that guy knew the fill." Lick for lick.
That makes me so happy.
Yeah.
Thank God I transcribed it correctly.
Changing lives already, Dan.
Dude,
that was filmed in this room. So again, shout out to Garden Groove.
I was so thankful.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I'm like, oh, crap. I don't have time to practice this. I'm like sitting in the hotel room on the bed going, and I'm like, oh, I hope I get it right.
Yeah, and it's like, well, it's not a hard fill, but it's not something that you can just like immediately play. Like you kind of have to practice it a few times.
It's so spacey.
It's a weird layout, yeah.
Yeah, it's such a spacey fill where you're like, it's the hi-hat that gets me every time. I never hit the hi-hat. I just go right to the tom. I'm like,
yeah.
No, dude, it was so much fun.
Were you guys just playing the one song or was it multiple?
We just played the one song.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, man, it was great. The award shows are hectic and there's not a thing to get you ready for that. So you just kind of like fly into it and you're like, oh, I hope I get this right. Yeah. It was one of our first times doing the live to track thing. And there's not anybody here who's like, hey man, let me teach you how to do this. You just walk in and there's mesh heads on your drum kit and you're like, where are the real heads?
Right.
Somebody screwed up.
Yeah. And the cymbals are dead.
I don't know if you guys know this, but these don't make any sound.
Yeah. And so it's two cymbals glued together. And when you hit it, if you don't hit it hard, it's not moving. So the other thing you have to be mindful of, how hard am I hitting to make the cymbal move, but does it look correct to the dynamic of the song?
That would skeeve me out. I'm sure you were already nervous, just the fact that you were doing this award show, but then the fact that there were not real heads on the kit.
I'd rather play the Opry any day of the week, which was a very scary experience too, nerve-wracking. I would rather never have to hopefully be on camera playing the wrong fill, because if I get it wrong, people know.
Yeah.
That's the whole goal. Call me Chris Angel. That's my job, is to not let you know.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
You know, I'm the master. I'm the mind freak out here thinking, God, you played the parts right. My mom sent me a text. She goes, you sounded great. And I was like, yep, that's all I needed to hear. Nobody knew.
Eric Pritchard, Drum Freak. That's your new name.
Yeah, the Drum Freak. Yeah, that'll go great on my next t-shirt.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Dude,
wow.
I just went through and we did some video shoots some months back I'm in a prog metal band called Flying Formation.
Oh,
and we had to do we're doing playthroughs of these tunes. I'm like, and I didn't write the parts down when I played them. I was just winging it. I'm feeling it and improvising in the moment, and it's happening. So like as I'm going back and playing the parts to camera, I'm like, I am not playing these right. So sorry to anybody who sees moments in those videos and goes, that ain't the right Phil. I'm like, sorry.
Oh, it's scary, man. Like there's a lot of weight on your shoulders because like if a TikTok comes out and it's like, the vocals are live but nobody knows that.
Right.
She actually sang and played everything. Mm-hmm. She won't ever do anything where she's not live. There's, something with the inputs and things like that. There's so many logistics with that many bands on stage that it's hard.
I'm sure that's very common.
Yeah, it's super common in awards, and everybody knows that.
Right.
But it's like if the TikTok comes out somehow, some way, and it's like Eric Pritchard or the drummer isn't playing the right parts, it just doesn't look great. And like we've got great fans, but people are mean on social media right now, and so it's just like,
what? That's weird.
Yeah, it's so that's one of those things. It's way easier to do it right the first time.
Totally.
So.
You've heard of Drum Supply, but you gotta see their shop. It's a drum shop experience like no other. They're packed with all the gear a working drummer needs, and so many parts, noise toys, and accessories. It's a toy store. Curated cymbals, kits, and snares. The hands-on percussion room is nuts, and their custom shop work is fast and affordable. Andy and the guys know their stuff, and they're ready to help. And the big news? They've just moved to an awesome new location near the corner of East Trinity Lane and Dickerson Pike. Still in East Nashville, just a couple miles from their old spot, the all-new Drum Supply is twice as big, featuring a dedicated cymbal room, a lesson space, and even more drum gear than ever. Go see the new Drum Supply shop for yourself. Now open 11 to 5 at 2211 Dickerson Pike and online at drumsupply.com.
Is that your first TV performance?
We've done the Today Show. We've done Good Morning America. We've done Kimmel. The CBS New Year's Eve, because I want to make sure I say it right, just in case somebody sees it. And we did the CMT Awards. And I think we're on the road for the ACMs, but she was nominated for 5 things at the ACMs this year. So
yeah, I saw that.
Way to go, Meg.
Dude,
proud of you.
It's killer.
Which of those shows for you was first of all, which one happened first, and which one was the most memorable and interesting to you?
Man, so I think our first one was Good Morning America. We played Tennessee Orange on Good Morning America. And that was just like, I remember telling my grandmother and being like, hey, Grandma, I'm going to be on Good Morning America. And like my grandmother was the kind of person who'd get excited about Good Morning America.
Sure. Yeah.
She was like, oh, I was going to have it on anyways.
Yeah.
All
right. It's part of the routine.
Kimmel was the most fun so far. I'm really hoping we get to do Fallon at some point. I'm sure we will, but Kimmel was so cool. I had a great drum kit that day. I had a DW Collector Series kit. They got my sizes right. I had 3 floor toms. Like it was a day. I was man. And we were out in 30 minutes. It felt like it was just over and done. And we had the whole day off. Then we played the Troubadour the next night. That was so fun.
Yep.
Wow.
But yeah, dude, Kimmel was my favorite TV thing we've done so far. But awesome. I like TV. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's just something nobody gets you ready for.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no school for that. How to play drums on TV.
Right. I feel like everyone in the TV industry, like they just expect, oh yeah, the musicians, like
get in here,
hurry up and wait and do your thing, and like, what's the problem?
Yeah.
It's like actually can be a very different beast, right?
It's Good Morning America. The lobby call is 2 a.m. You're on set at 3:30, and then you don't play till 7 a.m. So you've got from 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning till 7 a.m. before you play.
It's Good Night America. That's not Good Morning.
God, America.
Nothing. Nobody is happy. So we did the Today Show before the CMA Awards, and it was 3:45 a.m. Times Square in New York on Halloween. And there's some interesting people out there already.
I'm sure.
But We went to Taco Bell at 3:45 a.m.
Nice.
and got tacos before the Today Show. And it was just so weird, man.
Yeah.
TV's such an interesting cat to do.
That is not normal musician schedule.
No.
That's like the opposite end somehow.
Yeah. And it's like, you got to get like, I think Megan showed up at 7 and she was way more rested than we were. But it's like, it's hard to function. Like when you hear that loud click track in your ear at 4 a.m., you want to fight anybody in your line of sight.
Yeah.
Has the click always been this rage-inducing?
It's like
I
worse
don't
than
think it has. It's extra ragey today.
Like, Eric, it's just a shaker. Calm down.
It's worse than like people are like, oh, like I do early church service. You haven't done the Today Show. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I got to be Easter Sunday. I got to be at church at 5:30. Don't want to hear it. If you haven't been up at 2:15 for a lobby call for the Today Show, like you don't even go to sleep. We flew in at 11. We landed in New York at 11 p.m.
Wow.
I was up at 2:15.
That's insane.
Disgusting.
Yeah, and then our flight out was at like 10 a.m. So we finished at 7.
It's a quick turnaround.
I was on a flight at 10 a.m. headed home, and I was able to see it from my couch.
Here?
Yeah.
That's wild.
I got home, sat down,
Like, what just happened?
turned it on, and there I was. It's like, dead gum, look at that handsome devil.
Look at that guy. Wow.
Yeah, dude, TV's weird, man. I can't say that enough. TV's
Yeah, man.
weird. Really grateful to do it, though.
Yeah.
Never take it for granted.
As a kid, did you just like overall these big experiences that you've had the chance to experience? Like, did you think you would ever be in this position, playing stadiums, playing
No.
CMT Awards, Good Morning America?
No.
How surreal is that for you?
Man, it's every day. I say this a lot to people. Is I just say I'm glad to be on the right side of the dirt today, and everything is just like there's so many new things happening. I'm still not numb to some things yet. I don't know, man. I have moments where I just kind of step back and I'm like, who put these sticks in my hand and was like, here you go. Here is a position of like, I'm going to let you see the world. I went to Australia. I've been to the UK. I'm playing stadiums. I am incredibly blessed. God gifted me with such an amazing talent. And I'm just glad that in any capacity I get to use it. I think I saw myself playing professionally. I don't know if I saw myself playing professionally with somebody from my hometown at this level.
Sure.
Like all the ordered steps to get here, man, like I tell people all the time, like when you look at the Grand Canyon, you have a hard time arguing with anybody that God's not real. I have a hard time arguing with people now that God's not real when I look at the like trajectory of my life over the past 2 years.
Yeah.
I'm incredibly blessed and I'm surrounded by such a great support staff and team. The band, our management, Julie, Haley, Elisa, our band, Riley, John, and Alex. Those guys, if it wasn't for them, I would be Eric Pritchard, the guy that played drums in Georgia, here. I would be that. And I'm so grateful to be surrounded by such great people.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, dude. A man chooses his path and the Lord directs his steps.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so that was a beautiful answer.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, man. I don't know. I was thinking about it on the way over here actually, because I knew you were going to ask that, and I was like, shoot, I better get myself in the right headspace to not be emotional when somebody asks me that, because I find myself, I'll choke myself up thinking about it because it's just, I don't know, man. It doesn't feel real. Like I get to live my dream, and I was talking to my mom about it the other day. It's like the chances of being a touring professional at this caliber are about as slim as being a professional quarterback in the NFL.
Right.
I mean, you look at it like Wallen, Combs, Laney, Kelsey. There's only a handful of like big ticket gigs out there. And I'm on one that potentially is going to be a big ticket headline gig. There's 32 teams in the NFL. There are only 32 quarterbacks that start.
Right.
I mean, if you can name me 32 country artists that are selling arenas right now, I'd be genuinely impressed.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, I tell my mom that every day. I'm like, I'm super lucky, do what I do, but I never take it for granted. I go out every day and I bust my ass to do it the right way.
Yeah.
And I think it's just been honored through the people I work with. I think they see the effort and the hard work.
you have the right attitude, and like you said, surrounding yourself with that team is so important.
Oh,
I mean,
dude.
it's not just important. That's arguably why you're in that position. Like you need to have that team.
Yeah, I mean, we're
that
such
crew,
a family.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I like our manager. Most people in bands don't ever see their manager. I sat and played cards in St. Bart's with my manager for 6 hours, and we watched the Georgia-Florida State bowl game. But we sat there for 6 hours on the beach and played cards together. We're best friends. I love Julie
That's so
Griffith
cool.
to death. Yeah. I'm such a lucky person to be part of this team. I don't know any other way to say it. I'm just genuinely lucky. And that's not a Megan Moroney pun, but I'm just genuinely lucky.
I already did that
those
earlier.
all day.
Yeah. Hey, drummers. Do you need a place in Nashville to practice on actual drums? Drumbox is Nashville's newest drum practice studio. Book sessions online and get the space to yourself. It's fully equipped with 2 kits, cymbals, hardware, and even sticks are provided. 30-minute, 1-hour, and 2-hour sessions are available at www.drumbox.space and use the coupon code NDP25 for 25% off your first session. Again, that's www.drumbox.space.
Well, should we talk some drumming topics or?
Yeah,
do
dude,
it.
hit me with anything.
Yeah. Well, who are some of your favorite influences?
Dude.
Either past or present.
Oh, man. I started playing drums. My dad took me, my first concert was Van Halen.
Not a bad first concert.
I saw Van Halen in 08 on the David Lee Roth reunion tour.
Wow.
So my dad plays guitar. He took me to see Van Halen. Crazy. Just crazy cool. And then I saw Kiss. And that's when it happened. Eric Singer was on a platform. He rose up in the air. Stuff was exploding around him. Chicks are screaming. And I was like, that's going to be me. That's it. That's what I want to do. Not 4 weeks later, I had a drum set.
Dude.
I had a drum set in my room.
What was the first kit?
A Tama Rockstar.
Okay.
Tama Rockstar.
Always interested to hear these answers. It's commonly a Pearl. We've had a few Tamas, I think.
I liked it. My next kit though, which that Tama kit did not last long because apparently my mom was like, he's got it. And was like, we got to get him something better. So my second kit, 3 or 4 months later, was a Pearl Vision.
Okay, there we go.
I had a Pearl Vision birch, natural finish. God, I wish I still had that kit. I sold it. And I know the church that it's at. And I think I might hit them up one day and be like, I would really love this drum
Is there a
kit
return
back.
policy? Yeah.
Dude, seriously. That would be a really cool thing.
Yeah,
to do.
I would really love this kit back because it's like 22, 10, 12, 16. And it was one of the best sounding kick drums I've ever played. I still remember that kick drum sound.
Yeah.
It was just great.
We don't make the Vision anymore. That's old.
Yeah, I might have to hit them up. I know where it's at. It's in Noonan, Georgia. And I might have to hit them up and go get it.
There you go.
I'd drive down to go pick it up. But no, I love Tommy Lee with Motley Crue, Eric Singer with Kiss, Joey Kramer from Aerosmith. I grew up like an 80s rock.
Yeah.
You err to, and I've known this, but just from the short conversation we've had, that you err to the side of drummers with gobs of flash and style and groove.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I love the way Joey Kramer plays with Aerosmith.
dude.
Like that's who I want to be.
Flawless.
Yeah, it's who I want to be. I want to be Joey Kramer. I want to compliment a Steven Tyler.
Yeah.
But I love Tommy Lee. I mean, Tommy's my hero, minus the diseases.
Yeah.
But like Tommy's my hero. Yeah, man. I don't know, but like modern guys, Ryan Dawson from All Time Low. I love the way Ryan plays. He's the most dynamically aggressive player I've ever seen. Like he beats the shit out of those drums, but with such dynamic control, it's scary.
Yeah, finesse. Yeah, he's a big dude. Like
He is.
He's jacked, and I think that makes it harder to play dynamically.
Yeah, dude. I love watching him play.
I love that band.
Yeah, dude, they're so good. Dear Maria is my ringtone. We're on a date with them at Hangout this year, and it was another one of those moments. I saw our name on the bill with them, and I was just like, "Those guys are my ringtone."
Yeah.
Holy crap!
Yeah, right.
That's wild.
And our sets line up to where we play at a certain time, and they play at a certain time, and we're gonna be able to go watch each other. And I'm
great.
so stoked. That's so cool. Yeah, because I'm bringing my dad too. My dad's never seen All Time Low, and I'm like, Dad, you're gonna love this. He's not. but he'll have a good time.
Yeah.
I took my dad to Fall Out Boy the other week.
Nice.
And that was a trip. My 60-some-odd-year-old dad at Fall Out Boy was so funny. It was the best. Yeah, but, man, I'm not a huge, like, crazy time signatures kind of guy. Sorry. Can't do the...
It's not for everyone.
It's not. It's definitely not for Eric Pritchard. I struggle with it. I think it's cool, and I have a lot of respect for it.
Yeah.
Could not do it. I'm just like, man, give me a 4/4 groove and let me just dive.
Yeah. Well,
in
that's
that
also
pocket.
that's the gig you're on. Like,
Yeah.
And like I first heard you play earlier at rehearsal. Like you have a killer groove, and it's not
Thanks,
a mystery
man.
that you're in that camp and killing it. So
Appreciate it. Yeah, I've gotten really good at 6/8. I call myself the king of that
6/8,
6/8 swing, man. Like the guy that helps tech for me, Jordan, he's like, man, if anybody can play a 6/8 song, it's you.
I mean,
The Sultan of 6/8, dude. That's gonna be you, baby.
Dude, I've got it locked down. I'm the
But,
6/8
I feel
guy.
like I want to hear your take on this because like playing like when you play Tennessee Whiskey down on Broadway, like it's probably like okay, I can kind of chill on this song, but playing slow and with that finesse is maybe harder. Like you have to really be intentional about the musicality of it, and
I mean, yeah, especially if you're playing a small room.
yeah, I mean there's less notes. Like it's not hard to play, but
Yeah, I
also
mean,
not super
dynamically,
simple.
there are a lot of rooms down that are just like ridiculously bright, so that it just becomes like a game of making sure your cymbals aren't making everyone in the room want to die. Yeah. So yeah,
And
it can be.
You get kind of focused into, like, especially in Tennessee Orange, I like really key into like what I'm doing on the snare drum. Like, how is this, like, I'm locked in on the click on a 6/8 count, but what is the snare drum doing to like push and pull with my hi-hat work? And then like, how is it complementing the kick drum? Like, am I playing ghost notes that like are taking away from the kick pattern? Like, where are all three of my limbs lining up to being like, okay, this is a lot going on. But like in that slow 6/8, you have so much room to either make something really pretty or really distract. And like that, I think a lot of people forget about that sometimes. It's like,
overplaying.
yeah, man, being simple. Nobody's ever going to fire you for being simple. You'll get fired for being overcomplicated.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
You'll never get fired for playing it simple and right, ever. And if you
Not
do,
on
I'm
that kind of
sorry.
gig. Not
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you get fired for playing it simple, I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
Because there'll always be those moments where it's like, okay, now it's time for an Eric solo or something.
Yeah.
Where it's like we want you to open up a little bit. But,
And I never, y'all have to come to the show.
yeah,
If we
I'm
play,
you're playing Nissan, right?
yeah, August 2nd. I think what would be
2nd.
so sick is if we could do one of these after
Yo,
the
That
show,
would be
on the bus.
so.
Yeah, y'all come to the show. Let's hang out.
love to.
We'll do the whole thing, and then after it, let's do one of these on the bus. Let's just hang out and chat. We'll have a couple drinks and just chill.
That sounds great.
Yeah,
be
we'll
there. Yeah.
we'll make that work.
That'd be
I'll
great.
get
Yeah.
that all figured out, and we'll make that work. That'd be
Sweet.
so cool. Yeah, man, that's, I don't know, the whole playing too much, not playing enough. I don't ever play anything in the show that I'm like I don't want to say tough, but I don't play anything that's overcomplicated. Because in those big rooms, a crazy fill does not translate well.
Right.
True. Yeah, I'll get lost. All
Yeah.
those notes.
But if you just play a stupid, simple thing that like the average listener can comprehend,
Yeah.
they're gonna be like, whoa, that was dope. And it was literally, and then they lose their minds.
Yeah.
Yeah, or a simple syncopated tom
Yeah.
fill.
Because that
Yeah.
translates through the PA.
Yeah.
What comes from here through has to translate through microphones, cables, and a PA in a room that could hold 500 to 32,000 people. And it's like, you got to be really observant of like this to there. There's it's like playing telephone in elementary school.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah.
You know, it's like playing telephone. What I say here does not always make it all the way to that back row. And I'm
Yeah.
playing to that person because if you're in the back row, I bet you worked real dang hard to buy that ticket and you deserve the best sound you can get from me. And it's not playing some crazy fill pattern that you're not, it's just going to sound like mud up there to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Well, and I know this from playing Broadway. There's a difference between playing something that's impressive and
Yeah.
something that lands.
Yeah.
And you're like, there's sometimes when I'm like, I do something and I know the band knows it was dope.
Yep.
And they're like, and I've got some people in the band who are like kit monsters, you know.
You get
I'm
the
like,
eye.
Well, they're like, okay, yeah, that was cool. But I'm like, I know that didn't connect with anyone out there. Maybe I'll see one, somebody who's a musician.
One guy that got drugged by his girlfriend is out there.
We just talked about that with Devin.
Yeah,
last episode.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But with you have to contend with that, and then on top of that game of telephone. You do both of those things. Like, well, first of all, it might not land if I go too crazy here anyway. And if you're in the back, if you're in the nosebleeds, what are you getting? What I want to give you something clear and perfect.
You deserve the same thing that the person in the front row is getting.
Yes.
Dude, I'm really glad you said that. I mean, that's Rich Redmond, Jake Summers has said that on this podcast. It's like, yeah, you're playing for the person who has the worst seat in the house.
Yeah.
And especially with showmanship too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I try to I'm pretty flashy when I play. We played a show in Ohio and I almost passed out. Because I go at it. Yeah, man, I go at it. There's no hiding from it. I am back there. When we played Trader Joe, I'm legitimately jumping out of the seat into the cymbal and like falling back down.
That's good.
And it was like 98 or something that day. And it's kind of like on the back half of our set. And it's like stacked between three just heavy hitters. We would do Trader Joe, this Taylor Swift cover. And then we had a down song where I could kind of catch my breath. But like by the time we hit We Are Never, I was like, I had put the gas pedal all the way down. And our TM was like, hey man, are you okay? I was like, no. Get my fan and some water.
Yeah.
And an IV with some electrolytes.
Yeah. The girls get nervous. They'll watch me during Trader Joe and be like, hey, are you okay? The other day, Megan was like, hey, man, maybe don't drink 3 Dr. Peppers before we play the show. Maybe have a couple waters.
Hey,
You didn't have to go that hard.
that's not what John Daly told me.
Yeah, I go at it, man. I think when y'all come to the show, you'll see it. I try to be the second most fun person on stage. Right behind her, it's me.
That's what people are paying for. That's what they want to see, more or less, right?
I just want to have a good time.
Yeah, you're creating those memories. And
our fans are so good. And they've kind of like some of the like real like super fans have latched onto us in the band and they love it. And they're so good to us, man. We have the best fans in country music.
How would you describe the Meg Moroney show for someone who's never even heard of her or been to a show before?
Wow. Okay. A Megan Moroney show is like group therapy. And I don't think we understand this concept, but the girls will say this. It's like group therapy. And then it's like sitting on the couch after watching The Bachelorette, bitching about your ex-boyfriend, being like really wine drunk. That's a Megan Moroney show.
It's very specific.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right.
But it's like musically,
That's just not an experience I've ever had. Like most of any of that.
dude, you got to see the headline
Oh,
show.
surprising.
They are, I don't even know how to describe like what it's like. It's just, it's nuts. I mean, it's like a college football Saturday meets like really overly emotional women.
Yeah, a lot of high emotion and
Yeah. One of
awesome.
the only things I compare it to is I went and saw Taylor Swift twice this year. And our shows, I'll take it to the bank. Our shows go as hard as hers.
really,
Let's go. Yeah.
Our shows go as hard as hers, if not a little harder.
dude.
Our fans are really good and really devoted, and they're in these small rooms, and they're enjoying this season of Megan in a small environment, which they might not get again. So if you got to see Megan at the Brooklyn Bowl this December, you saw something super special because we might not do that again.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, our fans are great.
Are they singing every lyric to every song kind of thing?
Yeah, we do this. She does this bit where we play a song called Sad Songs, Sad People, and she goes, it's the least streamed song on the album right before we play it. And the response of it, I mean, they're screaming it. We don't have crowd mics because it's so loud.
Wow.
Yeah, we had crowd mics to start the year, and we were playing clubs. And then we were like, we got to get rid of these. It's so loud. Nobody had them in their ears. We had to change the capsule on her mic because it was picking up the crowd so much.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, I mean, we're emptying rooms before headliners go on sometimes. It's great, man.
I can't wait to see this show.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I'm so glad
cool.
y'all get to see it. It's dope. I mean, it really is like, it's a revival type thing for these girls. Yeah. It's nuts.
I'm excited, man. I definitely haven't been to something like that. So
yeah, Kenny might be a little different. We don't know what Kenny's gonna be like yet. Hopefully we'll come back around here and play a headline show. That's the one y'all need to see. Our headline shows are crazy. Yeah, man, they're so much fun.
You got full lighting going on and any visuals too, like videos or anything?
We don't have video yet. Yeah. We do have lighting. We're a really small camp still. We're in that growing process. I bet we'll have video probably by the end of the year. Yeah. I bet we're in a semi by the end of the year. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of stuff like that it's just like, sometimes we'll just get a text overnight and it's like, hey, we had to do this. Because we grew out of it. Yeah. Yeah, we started in a bandwagon. We did 2 weeks in a bandwagon, and the next week we were on a bus.
Damn. Yeah, especially Meg. I mean, she's just growing so much in the past year, right?
Dude, it's nuts. She's so talented. She's one of the best writers. She deserves all the awards. But yeah, overnight. Sometimes it seems like we were talking today. We were like, we have to put a song in the set because it went viral on TikTok over the weekend, and it's like a track 7 off an album.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I think we're gonna have to put it in the set.
Wow.
Because people are playing it on TikTok. She's like, yeah, there's 2 million videos that use this sound in 48 hours. So we probably should start playing it again.
What a wild concept. Social media is now interacting in your real life situation.
It's a big part of our, visually, our presence. The shows, or what people see on TikTok of our shows makes people want to come to the show. So, we're all aware of how important it is for video content and things like that to look good. So we're on our P's and Q's every night because everybody's got a phone up. And it takes one video to be like, this show is sick or this show's not so cool.
Yeah, totally.
So it's God, man, TikTok makes it way weirder.
Yeah. A lot more pressure.
Oh, so much pressure.
If you're prepared and professional, there's only more opportunity for that to actually benefit you, it sounds like, too.
Yeah, man, we use it to our advantage every day of the week.
You could live and die by it, you were saying back to the award show, if you miss those fills, everyone's seeing that.
It's noticeable.
But if you crush it, then you crush it. You know what I mean?
Luckily, my 2 seconds on camera, I smacked that fill.
Yeah.
I was like, nice. Thanks, cameraman. He had my back.
I love it.
Yeah, man.
Not the same as it ever was. Sonique Drums is the fledgling but fierce drum and percussion manufacturer based out of the Pinery, Colorado. They started their first year in business swinging and continue to punch up at the percussion industry at large. Sonique Drums is designing and manufacturing new, innovative, and better-made percussion accessories like the NATO 1, an industry-first, continually adjustable throw-off, or another industry-first, the 12-point drum key. Sonique Drums also specializes in steam-bent snare drums using domestic and exotic tone woods equipped with all brass hardware. You can demo and buy Sonique Drums original accessories and snares in Nashville at Nelson Drum Shop or meet them in person at the Music City Drum Show in July. Check them out at soniquedrums.com.
Dude, this is such a cool place. I love this. I would have never
Isn't it a great
known.
vibe?
Dude, this is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a great room.
No one ever said that about the room at Diamond.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't know why.
I've been to Diamond.
If anything,
one
it'd be
time.
like, who was that band playing? Why won't they shut the...
Hey, that punk band next door sounded pretty good.
Is that going to be the music bed for the episode?
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a great move over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is nice. I like this a lot. Yeah. I was really close to sound check. I was like, 4 miles? Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to drive back to Murfreesboro tonight. I live in Murfreesboro, and which is so nice. I'm not an in-town guy. You won't find me at Red Door. You won't find me at Tin Roof. You won't find me on Broadway. You'll find me at
Whiskey Jam.
Yeah,
If you're playing.
the one I have to play. I love Whiskey Jam. I go when I play.
Right.
But you can find me in Murfreesboro, Tennessee at a Cracker Barrel. No doubt about it.
Cracker Barrel, sponsor my boy.
Dude,
Yeah,
I'm just saying it
We were
now.
asking you about that earlier. Should
Yeah.
we just get into Cracker Barrel and then maybe some closing
Yeah,
questions?
what is it
Yeah.
about Cracker Barrel? that
Why do you
really
love-
jiggles your jimmies.
You have a Cracker Barrel hat, right?
I do have a Cracker Barrel hat on.
Look at that.
Yeah, dude, vintage right off eBay.
Beautiful.
No, I am. Oh man,
And you've got, what is that, the Cracker Barrel? Is that a magnet or a decal on your kit?
I do. It's actually a Christmas ornament. I converted into like a rack-mounted, unofficial sponsorship plug. So I wore this shirt that said "I love." Megan wore the "I Heart Hot Cowboys" shirt, and so I was just making a joke, and I made one that says "I Heart Cracker Barrel," which isn't a lie.
Yeah.
I do
It
like.
is also a funny joke.
Yeah, I love Cracker Barrel. So I wore it the first time in Knoxville, Tennessee, and Megan posted it on her story and was like at Cracker Barrel. And I'm like, oh shoot, we're in, dog.
Yeah.
If Meg's got my back.
Yeah.
And so no, we've DM'd and messaged, and I think we're gonna work something out at some
Dude,
point.
that'd be sick.
No, but I swear you can find me there 2 to 3 times a week. I will probably be there when this is over. Like that's where I'm headed.
Wow.
Um,
So it goes pretty deep.
So I do this thing, Cracker Barrel, turn this off real quick. I tag Cracker Barrels. So I've gone to antique stores and I buy vintage picture frames and I take photos from shows done by Jeff Johnson, the best photographer ever at Jeff Johnson Images. Love you, Jeff. I take his photos and I will put them in those antique frames and I will put them on the wall at Cracker Barrels. So
That sounds like it may be illegal.
That's incredible.
That's an awesome hobby.
I don't think that's illegal. That you can't take stuff, but you can leave stuff.
Bad
Yeah, I'm-
stuff, yeah.
yeah, consider it charity at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
They should be so lucky.
That's just beautification.
They're still up.
Oh my God. Just
I
random Cracker Barrels?
Yeah, if I go to a Cracker Barrel, so there's two. God, this is gonna make me sound like a psychopath. I live 3.7 miles away from both Cracker Barrels in Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Like you're in the middle of two?
I split two
sandwiched
right down the pipe.
Yeah,
One is definitely better than the other.
sure.
Won't say which one. I'm like to the point now where like I can walk in and they know my order.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Which is?
Pritchard special.
Yeah. So for lunch, it is the fried chicken with fried okra, green beans, and corn, and a Dr. Pepper. And then for breakfast, I do the pancakes with sausage and some biscuits. Great. But there's Cracker Barrel just has so many options. You can go breakfast, lunch, dinner, Thanksgiving. Like, I'm just saying, Thanksgiving Thursdays at the Barrel are great. But it's like turned into things where like somebody made me a custom shirt that said "getting barreled." It's like my tagline now. I'll be like, the boys will be, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm getting barreled, dog. Leave me alone." Or,
Somebody that doesn't know is like, oh, he's like getting sloshed?
Yeah.
No,
No,
it's
dude.
even worse than that.
Thanksgiving at Cracker Barrel.
I am deep in the gravy at Cracker Barrel.
He's addicted
Oh,
to
there's
Cracker
too many jokes you can
Barrel.
make.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah. I had like somebody made me a shirt. My birthday was in February. Just take a wild stab at how much in gift cards I received for Cracker Barrel.
I'm going to go with $1,500.
All right, lower.
Okay.
That's a great one. A little lower,
800.
a little lower,
Let's say 300,
a little higher,
400,
a little higher.
450.
We're talking 500.
$575. Bro, I have a year.
And you spent it all, I was going to say that night.
Yeah. And dude, and like a normal person, $575 at Cracker Barrel is their like lifetime.
lifetime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
it like
exceeds
$9.99
my
for
lifetime
a meal?
use so far. Yeah.
Me, maybe a year and a half at $575.
Dang.
Yeah, dude, people are going to think this guy is so unhealthy. You would be right. I eat Cracker Barrel all the time.
They're going to think it.
They're going to think it and they're going to be right.
No, you look great, man.
Thanks, dude.
I wouldn't have guessed the Cracker Barrel diet.
Yeah, dude. The grilled rainbow trout, pretty healthy. But no, like the boys in the band will go with me all the time.
Getting barreled. That's the best thing ever.
Meg has gone with me.
Okay, yeah.
It's a little nuts. But yeah, dude, I love Cracker Barrel and I have no shame in it. Everybody knows it about me. And it's become my like shtick. That Meg's fans make friendship bracelets. I have probably 30 Cracker Barrel friendship bracelets.
Did this come from growing up? Like, did your family go to Cracker Barrel?
We went growing up. I don't know where the fixation clicked. It could be because I like fried chicken and I like gravy, and they just have both all in one meal. And I was just sold.
It was just your introduction to that thing. Like, you know, you can get that other places. What?
Oh, dude, Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen has chicken tenders and gravy. If you've never dunked your chicken tender in gravy, brother, let me put you on God's gift to man. Go there, get the 6-piece strip basket with gravy and a Dr. Pepper, and you'll leave and be like, damn, I feel horrible, but I feel great.
It's true. Here's the thing. Gravy should be the most common American condiment, or like whatever you want to call it, dressing. It should be the most pervasive, but it's not. It's, when you look at it, it's about as American as you can get.
Dude,
but
gravy,
do you find it on everything? No, you have to go to freaking Canada to find it on fries. I'm pissed.
Oh, what is it? Poutine?
Yeah. It's the best.
That's great. Yeah. Dude, you can put gravy on anything. We don't have enough gravy in America. Maybe that's why people are so... that's why people are so up in arms about things. If they would just smother all their shit in gravy and be like, oh, damn.
They'd just be, they would die. Their arteries would clog. They'd be dead, and then we wouldn't have to deal with their bad attitudes.
I've eaten some like super unhealthy shit on the road too. We were at a festival and I had a Krispy Kreme burger. It was a double cheeseburger with bacon, and it had 2 Krispy Kreme donuts as the bun.
Obscene.
Oh, it was so good.
Wow.
It was so good.
So bad for you.
Oh.
It sounds great. Yeah,
horrible for you.
Yeah.
The guys will pick on me because I'll eat something like super outlandish like that, and they'll be like, hey, bro, you know you can't shit on the bus. And I'm like, bro, I'll be fine. Leave me alone. Yeah. I'm still clean.
Let's go.
I'm still good. I'm still in the win column on the bus.
Dude.
Yeah, no, our bass player that eats like airport sushi,
right?
I don't know. Don't trust him.
Yeah.
He says he hasn't, but
I don't
want
to look at his scorecard is what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's batting perfect, but
yeah.
I'm now thinking of how I actually think sushi would go really good with gravy.
Scrub soy sauce, a little gravy on it? Like a California roll with like some brown gravy. I'd do it.
That sounds so wrong.
I'm going to create sushi that is gravy centric.
Is it just
and you're going to be the first person I invite to come try it. Dude, once I've nailed the recipe.
I'm in. You don't have to convince me twice to be like, hey, man, I put gravy on this fried chicken sushi roll that came out. I'd be like, shit, I'm on my way.
Yep.
I know you did. I've already eaten it.
See you in 15. I'll be there.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, Cracker Barrel is like it started as a joke, and now I am the bit. I'm that committed. I almost wore the shirt. I almost did. I was really close. I had
you got the hat, so.
Yeah, I had the Getting Barreled shirt.
That's incredible.
Like, at the house, and I was like, oh, shoot, I don't know.
Is this too on the nose? That's fine.
People are going to be like, that's the only thing that guy knows how to do is talk about Cracker Barrel. Like, you are correct. I like, this is the best part about Cracker Barrel. Hands down, on my dating profiles, I had something that was like unofficially sponsored by Cracker Barrel. Do you know how many girls have been like, I'll let you take me to Cracker Barrel? And I'm like, no shit, are you for real? Because that's like cheap. I'm in. It's amazing. You can save so much money by on your dating profiles being like unofficially sponsored by McDonald's. Like, are you gonna get me a Big Mac? And be like, heck yeah, babe, I sure am. I can afford that.
Yeah, right.
The amount of first dates I could have gone on to Cracker Barrel is stupid.
Cracker Barrel, filling stomachs and saving dating lives.
Oh, my pickup line is, I'll take you to a candlelit dinner at the barrel.
You want to get barreled afterwards? During? Sorry.
Yeah, how about
this is getting me. This is perfect. Thank you.
Well,
yeah.
It's funny because we pretty much end every interview talking about Nashville food, but like, there's no other question to ask. We know that it's Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
I mean, I like some things around here. The problem is like I don't live in town.
Yeah,
so
you're in the borough.
Yeah, I'm not a coffee guy either, and that might be my cardinal sin to some people. They're like, oh, you don't drink coffee.
East Nashville.
Yeah, I don't. We driving by here. What is it? Dose? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yep.
The first time I ever met with somebody like as a mentor was at that, and I was like, oh shoot, that's great. I met Jared Neal with Ben Rector up there, and I don't know, when driving by it, I was like, oh shoot, I got sentimental for a second. I was like, damn it, I'm in my feels again. I was actually listening to Ben Rector on my way here. I was listening to 30,000 Feet.
I love him. Yeah.
It's my favorite song in the world. It's my next tattoo. Is a 30,000 feet tattoo. The whole line of looking down from 30,000 feet. Life's been good to me. With as much as I'm flying currently, I'll play it anytime I'm homesick or when I'm on a flight. And we were on one the other day coming home from Austin, and I teared up on the flight. And I know the guy sitting by me was like, "Why is this kid crying?" I'm just listening to Ben Rector, man. Leave me alone.
Understandable.
I too have a crying publicly with Ben Rector story. And that was, I was in the drive-thru of an In-N-Out with my wife, and she was like, "You need to hear this song. It's called Old Friends."
Oh, and the bike bell.
Oh my God. I'm like, why did you do this in the line of a fast food chain? Like I'm like crying as I'll have a 3x3. Like, oh my God.
Yeah. I know on the day, somehow when it happens, if it does happen, when I get married, Forever Like That, it'll probably be the song that I'm like, that's it. I want to hear that one. But yeah, dude, I don't know, man. 30,000 Feet's been like my life anthem for the past 4 years. I remember where I was the first time I heard that song. And I was like in that place too where I was in a pretty rough mental spot touring wise. I'm a huge advocate for musician mental health. I think it's the most unnoticed part of it. What we do is really tough. I was suicidal for about a year. Wow. Touring, and I was out with an artist, and I had a TM. I called him and was like, "Hey man, I'm not gonna make it." I was suicidal. My parents had to come and take care of me and all those things. And I remember sitting on the floor of the house I was in the kitchen with my dog, and I was just like, that song was playing, and I was like, I'm okay. That song arguably is what kept me on this planet for another day. Was being like, I'm okay.
Incredible.
Yeah, man. I'll live and die by that song. It's one of the best. I love Ben Rector. He's a great guy. Jared, his drummer, is a great friend of mine. And it's cool. He saw me when I was a nobody. And now that I have even just some remote thing, I saw him the other night when they were out with Dan and Shay, and he was just like, "Man, I'm really proud of you." And that just like...
How'd that feel?
Dude, it's almost like hearing my dad like pat me on the back and be like, "Hey man, I'm proud of you." And I was like, I did it.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I'm like getting choked up over here.
I mean,
yeah,
thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
and
dude.
I was going to bring that up, actually, the whole mentorship, because I remember seeing that. I think it was on like an Instagram story after CMT, and you like thanked, I think it was him and Cody Ash, I want to say.
Garrett Goodwin, who used to play for Carrie Underwood.
Yeah.
You were thanking like your mentors, and I wanted to just ask you about how important it seems like mentors have been in your life.
So I'm a huge thank you person. I read Walt Disney's Be Our Guest. I don't know if you've never read that book.
No.
You need to, because it'll change the way you talk to people and the way you interact. Even now I tell like our guitar player Riley called me the other day, and he said he was just doing something simple that needed to be done, but I was like, "Hey man, thank you for doing that. Thanks for taking the time to focus on that and handle that. I appreciate it." It had nothing to do with me, but saying thank you to people is so important. But yeah, the mentor thing, when I was young, I worked with Garrett for a while. He was the guy who really like hammered me on the click. The way I set my drums up a lot of times is just kind of my way to be like respectful to like, he took the time to work with me and show me things. So I used the 3 floor toms and things like that. All my cymbals are flat. Because I just wanted to be like him. I thought he was cool. I was, in high school, sophomore, junior in high school, and I thought he was cool. And I was like, I want to be like that guy. And now he's married with kids and he's off the road. And like, I sent him a text the other day after I played the CMTs, and I was like, "Hey man, I just want to tell you thank you. You radically changed the trajectory of my life because you were willing to sit with me for a few hours once a month and like care." Mm. And the same thing with Jared. When I started talking with him, just having somebody care, even if it was just for an hour, having somebody care enough about you and your craft and your ability to be like, "Yeah, there's something here. We can work on this." Mm. I'm a huge proponent of, I paid for mentorship too. I bought coffee. I paid whatever their like hourly rate was. I will never charge somebody. Not saying that, charging is wrong or in any way, shape, or form. I will never ask somebody to pay me for answers or my time or anything like that, because I believe it's my give back. I think, you grow up with that whole, like, you give 10% to the church, the whole like tithing thing.
Yeah.
I believe I've been so blessed with this opportunity that if anybody asks, I'll just be there. One of the guy that texts with me, Jordan, I've kind of been like his unspoken mentor, and I love the kid to death. I see a lot of me in him, but I get DMs all the time like, hey man, I love your plan. I love this. And I'm like, hey, I always say thank you. I always offer to meet them, shake hands, a phone call, whatever. Just because I know when I was sitting in economics class and Miss Mathis's class at Alexander High School my sophomore year, and Rich Redmond DM'd me back on Instagram, it changed how I looked at things.
Yeah.
And he didn't have to. He didn't have to take the time to do it. But like him taking that 5 seconds to be like, hey man, yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. Here are my links. Here's where you can find all the answers to your questions. I'll never charge for that.
Yeah.
Never.
I love that now you're paying it forward. You have that mindset.
Yeah, man.
Like the people that have helped you out, and now you want to do that for others.
Yeah, there's so many great drummers here that now it's like going into it. My big thing is I want to help guys when they go into their first award show. How do you do it? Hey, here's what to expect. And it's like, you don't know that until somebody tells you. And you don't know who to ask all the time. And some people won't tell you. But yeah, man, I've had some great mentors. I've had some great people in my life that just championed me and cared.
Yeah.
Growing up, I grew up in church. I feel like mine and like Alec Parrish's story is pretty close. Like we both grew up in churches in Atlanta, played around in that scene. But man, those guys mentor you so hard, and you don't know it yet until you get out on the road and you're like, oh dang, I learned so much. I learned how to be a musician. Like a lot of the parts I play are what I learned playing at church.
Yeah.
And I've just carried them into playing country music. I've just translated them over.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I've been so lucky with great mentors and the people I've worked with.
I love it. That's another special thing, of course, about the Nashville drummer community. It's big reason why we have this podcast, There's a reason we maybe couldn't take this to, I don't know, what's it, name another city?
LA. Yeah.
LA Drummers Podcast. Maybe we could. But the point is, we love Nashville. And I think so many drummers, I've encountered that here. I've gotten coffee with mentors and drummers that are on major gigs that usually will say yes, they'll answer my DMs, and I've wanted to do that to younger drummers as well. It's a cool thing we got going on here for sure.
Yeah, when you have the knowledge, if I was coming in to play drums, absolutely, if I got paid, super grateful. But for somebody to be like, hey man, can we just sit down and chat? Yeah, I'd love to. If I've got the time, I'm all in. We got to start caring about the people who are next, because they're only going to be as good as we let them be and what we coach them to be. And, that's the most important part, is like the next phase of drummers coming up that are in the white vans right now, traveling around playing Outlaws and Ames and the Tin Roofs and Uptown Social in Charleston. They're only going to be as good as we equip them to be.
Yeah.
That's so well said. Yeah.
We got to care about those guys coming up next.
Yeah, man.
Because at some point you look at like Rich Redmond and Kent Slusher with Luke Bryan, and those guys they're watching the people like me who I paid. I remember being in high school going to see Florida Georgia Line, not because I cared about FGL. I wanted to see Sean Fuller play those damn drums.
Yeah.
That man with 4 kick drums. We were in Australia a couple weeks ago, and he was sitting in the lobby talking to me, just like we were buddies. And I was telling him, I was like, Sean, I used to pay absurd amount of money to go stand in the pit just so I could be close enough to watch you work.
Wow.
And I'm like, here we are sitting at a table at a hotel bitching about how long the van ride is to the stage.
Yeah. What a cool moment, right?
Man, it was just one of those, I called my mom after, and I was like, I don't know. It's just, this is crazy still to me.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I love it. Thanks for sharing your story. I think it's
dude,
inspiring.
absolutely.
And yeah, man, we'll be following you on tour this year. And
yeah, man, absolutely.
it's only upwards, if that's even possible. But it sounds like with Meg and the crew you got behind you, it is going to get bigger. So,
dude, yeah, it's only up from here.
Yeah, man.
Where do you want people to follow you?
You can follow me at epritchdrums on Instagram. You can also follow me at epritchdrums on X. Find me on Facebook. My mom posts great pictures of me.
Look for those tagged photos.
Yep, you can find me on Venmo too if you're feeling generous.
That's a new one.
I'm there.
I never had that. That's smart.
I'm on the Venmo if you're feeling generous. If you want to go to Cracker Barrel, I'm there too, probably. So, yeah, guys, thank y'all for having me, man. I appreciate. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I've been listening for a long time, so I was really excited.
Appreciate you supporting and
yeah, man.
And again, check out. We have behind the scenes video from Eric's rehearsal. We have a whole kit rundown. So head on to youtube.com/Nashville Drummers Podcast.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Nashville Drummers Podcast. If you liked it, please consider leaving us a review on the Apple Podcast app. Please consider supporting us on Patreon. For $5 a month, you can help support this dream and keep the ball rolling for us. Believe it or not, it's not free or even necessarily cheap for us to make this thing go. To sign up, go to patreon.com/Nashville Drummers Podcast or click the link in our Instagram bio. All of your help is greatly appreciated.
Visit our website, NashvilleDrummersPodcast.com, where you can listen to all past episodes, learn more about myself and Nate, and buy all your favorite Nashville Drummers Podcast merch, including t-shirts, tank tops, sweatshirts, hats, and drum heads. Connect with us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube at Nashville Drummers Podcast.
This episode of the Nashville Drummers Podcast was recorded at Garden Groove Studios.
Tucked away in a private and soundproof studio in East Nashville, Garden Groove was born out of a desire to create a space where musicians, entertainers, teachers, and learners could come together. Garden Groove offers a quiet and relaxed environment for creativity to thrive and grow.
Their mission is seated to fostering creativity and collaboration among musicians of all levels. In addition to a state-of-the-art recording space, they also offer a range of events and workshops to inspire and connect the community.
Recording, mixing, and mastering services start at just $45 an hour, and professional audio engineering services available for an additional $25 an hour. And exclusive discounts for newsletter subscribers, 25% off your first session when you subscribe.
Visit garden-groove.com to learn more and book a session. That's garden-groove.com.
Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.